Hey, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Internet Friends, the episode where we unleash a AI virus into the internet to launch the nukes.
Yay! Hey,
Is that already
if no one
happening?
else will. Yeah,
This is an onion level headline.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know if that's real or not.
that was something I thought about
Who's to
because I
say?
was like, oh, it's so good to sit back and unwind after the threat of nuclear war to watch a movie about the threat of nuclear war.
Yeah, that again took place before the dot-com bubble even burst yet.
Yeah. Oh, the early internet stuff in this movie is amazing.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit because I think it's going to be probably one of the things I want to talk about the most. But yeah, kind of giving away. This week we watched Digimon the movie, which was my recommendation, which came out in the 2000s, and my general impression saying is like, man, you really need to turn up the tint on your nostalgia rose-colored glasses for this one.
Yeah.
Like I was having
Specifically the third act.
Yeah, I was having a ball, but it was also it's like, man, if you were not a Digimon kid in the 90s and early 2000s,
And I was not.
I'm very interested to know what you thought.
You had no idea what's going on. All like the moments that are probably super hype, you have no context for, and you don't feel it whatsoever. The pacing on this thing,
I have 3 pages of notes. 3
Oh
pages.
shit!
So
Yeah. The pacing on this is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and there's a reason for that, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, so in 2026, going back now, do I recommend this movie? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But if you just need a good dose of nostalgia and you were a Digimon fan back in the day as a kid, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Go get that big spoon of nostalgia just to make yourself happy, kid.
Yep.
Let that little child be happy.
Yeah, let that little child be happy. And if you want something actually good that is related to this movie, watch Our War Game, the original adaptation of one of the segments in this film.
Yeah.
I have not seen it, but I've heard it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. So originally, basically, the concept of this movie was actually, it was kind of 3 different movies, actually. Yes. So all 3 acts are basically could be like seen as separate movies, which is one of the reasons why the pacing is so breakneck. They like really condensed them into one movie. And the first 2 acts, especially the second act, if they had just extended that and let it sit on its own, would have been an amazing film. The first act, if you were a Digimon fan, you wanted like an origin story, okay, sure. There's something there. The third act is, I would argue you could stop it after the second act if you really, really are not feeling it.
Completely agree. I'm really excited to hear, Bree, what you feel about this. But first, the first act of this movie was essentially the pitch. It was a short film made for an anime film festival to be like, hey, watch this, and then next summer check out Digimon the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, that's what these were. These were just short films that were completely removed from each other, and American producers went, we can pull a Pokemon the first movie out of this, can't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like basically they had to respond. Anything Pokemon was doing at the time, Digimon had to respond in kind. And I was more of a Digimon kid growing up, if I'm being completely honest. During like the channel wars of the Saturday morning cartoon era, like you're flipping between WB and Fox. You know, it's just like, I'm going over to watch Digimon, I'm going back over to watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, and then I'll come back for Power Rangers, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, Bree.
Not being a Digimon fan at all.
You have the floor.
Yes. So I will say, Digimon was something like I watched it occasionally if it was on, maybe before something I actually wanted to watch. So I had like a very vague knowledge of it. I was definitely a Pokemon girl. Always will be a Pokemon girl. I just like, I don't know what it was. It just never really grabbed me. I was gonna watch this movie by myself, but my partner was like, I fucking love Digimon. Can I watch this movie with you? And I am so
Oh.
grateful because yeah, you mentioned earlier if you didn't like Digimon, don't watch this. If you watch this with somebody who's really fucking jazzed about Digimon, excellent viewing experience.
I watched
he
it.
had to
I
sell
watched it with my girlfriend, and like she has a Gabumon plushie. She loves Gabumon. She's a Digimon girly, so it was definitely worth watching with her.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, no, so I don't know anything about this universe at all. So I even have a chart here cuz he walked me through. Okay, so there's baby and then in training, then rookie, which is the base level, and then they go to champion, ultimate, mega, but in this version they warp digivolve into mega, which only happens in this movie. So I was like, "Hold on." Like I was literally like, "Wait, I'm taking notes. Hold on."
I'm writing this down. Not to call
And
your
every
partner
time
a
they
liar.
digivolve, I was like, no, go
But
ahead.
warp digivolving did happen in the series a couple of times.
That is true.
Yes, I'm really summarizing just based on like
Okay.
this context. Just like he was
Yeah.
even like, well, technically I was like, I don't care. I need
Yeah,
to
I
know what's
don't-
happening.
I
in
don't
You're
this.
over explaining it.
Yes, and then I'd be like, okay, are they ultimate right now or are they mega? And he's like, oh, okay, so they were ultimate, but they lost, and now they're back to rookie. That's like the base level. But if they're really hurt, they go back to in training. I was like, okay, yes, understood. All right. So we had to it took us about like a little over 2 hours to watch because we kept pausing for him to explain things to me because I'm like, okay, like even though you explained
So
it to
he
me,
went
this makes
full
no
ADHD on you, like full autistic ADHD. Like this is my special interest. I need to explain everything to you. You have to have every
yes, he brought
detail
out his
possible.
Digimon plushies to show me, walk through.
I love it. Love it.
He has a little the little orange
And when
one
the
with
Digi
ears.
eggs. Patamon.
That turns into, and I was like, oh, is that becomes the hot angel lady? He's like, no, the hot angel man. I was like, oh yes, of course,
Yeah.
naturally that
Yeah,
makes
no,
sense.
the
cat
cat becomes the hot angel lady.
Yes.
Obviously.
Which
so
the cat is the only one that has a base form at champion.
yes, and I know that.
Good. Yay.
I'm like, I'm learning, I'm understanding. I will say, I am so grateful that I watched this with him because I was laughing my fucking ass off the whole time. All of this is insane. It is just the most wild, convoluted shit. I was having a blast, except for the third movie. The third part of that movie is not fun. I was like, okay, this could have ended. Like
Yeah.
the first two parts, I was having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Up until then, it was really, really fun. I will say really quick before we move on, this movie is so fucking overstimulating. It is so fucking noisy. There are constantly characters talking. There is background noise. There is background track. I told my partner, I was like, I'm gonna be exhausted after this movie, and I am currently exhausted because as a neurodivergent person, this was so much for me. And I get it's for kids, but I'm like, it is so overstimulating. I'm very noise sensitive. Like I have a lot of sensory issues that way, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. So I want to say that right off the bat.
Yeah, the soundtrack being all like late 90s, early 2000s pop punk, like 3-chord Cloud of Dust, which by the reason I picked this is because my playlist recently has been algorithmed to have so many things from the soundtrack, and I was just like, man, that movie just had banger after banger after banger on it.
It did. The soundtrack is okay. The soundtrack is often.
It's not the Breeze taste, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's directly in my wheelhouse, so I loved it.
Yeah. No, the soundtrack is incredible. And it also reminded me of how good just the Digimon anime soundtrack is, because the original songs that they sprinkle in there are also great. The opening theme did not need the whitest guy from the early 90s rap ever.
I forgot about that.
Did I.
It was one of those things like you turned it on and like because I watched the bootleg, YouTube version, I was just like this could have just been like a pirated fake version that somebody just did. It's like, no, I remember this watching it. Yeah. I was just like with the sprites jumping around on the screen and everything.
It
It's
was
like, oh
bad.
yeah, they actually did that. The only thing that would have made this more like, what the hell am I watching, is if we actually had to watch Angela Anaconda at the beginning.
Yeah,
of
I was
it.
gonna bring up Angela Anaconda too. Bree, you didn't get that version of it with the Angela Anaconda short
No, I
film that
did.
opened it.
I
You
did.
Oh,
did?
you
I did.
did.
Oh, where'd you
So
find
I
that?
watched this. So yeah, it's so funny because I'm glad we're bringing this up because this movie is notoriously impossible to find, and I could not watch the version that you linked because it's in 240p, and I can't do that to myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
No.
I did find it. Thank goodness for Reddit. Reddit, it is on like Internet Archive, and that's where we watched it, and it was in a much better
Oh,
quality.
okay.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so that did. We were almost gonna skip that, but my partner's like, let's just watch it because it's here. I don't really remember this. And the only thing I wanted to mention about that is that I don't miss the theater experience where you don't have assigned seating. I forgot that that's how theaters used to
really?
That
work.
was a thing,
And
yeah.
what a
Yeah.
nightmare that was. It was
I-
very aggressive, and like people would shout at you and you'd get into fights. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot we used to live like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
You'd have to race to the seat that you wanted.
Oh yeah, I know. I used to like get to the movie theater like an hour or two early for that reason.
At least, yeah.
My parents literally would take us to the movies all the time growing up, and like we would literally like get there early enough to be the first ones in line to get seating.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I do not miss that. That shit sucked.
So going back into kind of like specifically the three parts of this, going to the first part of this, because even though like obviously I think the second part's goated, I think that's the one I want to spend most time talking about. The first part actually is a really good sort of kind of story, just talking about to kind of introduce people to this world. And there were certain things about it that I was like, oh man, us 90s and 2000s kid, like the mom just like leaving her kids to like just take care of themselves, and like,
Yeah.
the
That's
little
like
kid
my
making
first
his
thought. I'm like,
eggs.
how old are these kids?
Because
Yeah,
like,
still.
because
Still
I was just like, I was like, oh god, we used to have that's right, we all used to be latchkey kids. Our parents would
Yep.
just leave.
Mhm.
Don't burn anything down. I'll be right back.
I'm going to the store.
Yeah, there's that.
Crazy.
A lot of recycled animations, especially in the first and third acts. I think it's more forgivable in the
Yeah.
first, because like since it, like Seth, like you mentioned, this was originally intended as like the like clip to sell the show.
Yes.
Mhm.
But also because, like, I know we're talking about the first part right now, but because they were stitching 3 movies into one movie, you get a lot of recycled animation from the third one when they're like, "Oh, Willis, America, that was happening over there." Also, which state did he live in? I don't think they ever said it. No, I'm
Ah,
kidding.
God, I wish
They
I
said it
knew.
1,000 fucking times.
Yeah, that plot was definitely the one that they were just like, this is gonna be the glue that holds it all together. This random American kid that we're not gonna actually show do anything till the third act. He's from Colorado.
And
Also,
my friend
sending a
Willis
nuke
from
to
Colorado.
I just
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
of all
such a
places.
victory, like, and also that's gonna hit way more than Colorado. I just don't. The states are pretty close together.
Yeah. Oh, and then when
Wild.
sorry, we're skipping ahead, but when Kari and TK take the train from New York to Colorado, you know, the famous train from New York to Colorado.
Right. You want to know how expensive that train ride is? I don't even know what line that would be.
Well, you'd have to go down
It's
to
an
Chicago
Amtrak,
first,
obviously.
and meet up with the Amtrak. But no, the first one, I did find myself enjoying it more than I remember. Because when I was a kid, I was like, let's just get to the monsters fighting. Let's get
Yeah.
to the big monsters fighting. But I did enjoy the like setup, the way it like slowly introduces you to like, hey, there's like a technological part of this and the way they digivolve and all of that. I don't know why they're giant. They're not that big
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice. The animation on it, the art direction on it's really gorgeous, I will say.
So
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Especially the first 2 acts, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, you all the background stuff and everything, you know, it all being hand drawn, and you know how they do the animation, it like looks really good, even in the like 480p version. Like, you know, it's just like, it definitely took a lot of getting used to, and like I wish I had like watched a higher quality version. Now that I know it won't exist, I'll probably do that at some point.
Just one. Just one exists.
just one.
Hey, it exists. It exists.
Yeah. What's interesting about the animation for that first one is that it premiered. I said this, but it premiered at a film festival dedicated for animation. The pilot for, well, not the pilot, but a bridge short film from the original Yu-Gi-Oh series to the one that we got in the West was also at that same film festival and premiered before this. The animation is nowhere near as good. They threw so much money and effort behind the Digimon short, and it shows because it is beautiful when Greymon does the big fire at the end. It's gorgeous to look at.
Absolutely.
Any more thoughts on the first act?
I want to mention really quick. Oh yeah, no. That was one of my other notes. I'm just like, okay, they're like, I don't know, dumb kids like jokes. Just make them jokes constantly, even if they don't make sense contextually. Just throw them in there constantly.
Yeah,
I'm just like, okay, calm
that
down.
goes back to the pacing. Is like they constantly felt like they had to fill air.
Yeah,
like nothing breathed whatsoever.
Not a quiet moment, not a moment.
Yeah.
I was going to mention them freaking out about a computer virus on the internet. I'm like, whoa, on the internet?
No way! Oh no!
They have to stop? Jeez.
I didn't know things on the internet could like harm your computer. 2 years after this movie came out, we all destroyed our computers with Napster.
Yeah. Well, this was also like right after Y2K also.
Oh yeah, true.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
They also mentioned he's like, well, somebody emailed me on the internet, and that so that's how I got this information. I was like, oh, they don't know that people lie on the internet. They don't have that.
Yeah, we don't know that. They don't know how that works.
So we're getting into our war game.
Yeah, so this is getting into Act 2 in our war games. This section of the movie, this specific second act, holds up so well.
It really does. Except for piggybacking off the email. How does everyone have their email? Like, we're getting a bunch of emails from around the world. It's like, oh, you don't know how email works yet.
This is back when you just put your email as your AOL message board user tag. And so basically, it's just like type in name at AOL.
Yeah. Name at AOL, ASL, the usual stuff.
But no, it first off, like, it gave me a lot of kind of nostalgia for like internet culture and computer culture from like that era, and like it really did make me kind of go, it's like, wow, really not much has changed when you really think about it.
Yeah.
I also
do wish I did love the visual of them getting onto the internet and flying through like the tunnels, and I'm like, this is what dial-up used to feel like. You would hear that sound, and this is what you pictured in your head.
Yeah, you're just like, you're going to the thing that you're trying to get to on the internet, as opposed to now it's just like type, pop up in there.
Yeah, and here's an ad for boner pills.
I will say, I've recently switched to using Linux on my laptop, and so it's just the feeling of using a command line, and like when you do something and like you just get the spam of like text and things of your computer doing something, you get that feeling. It's like Matrix hackers thing, like that. Like it's the feeling I get watching like our war game section, because like it's just all just like.
Well, that's what Izzy was doing.
Yeah,
he plugs in the satellite phone to be able to still connect to the internet, and it's all like click, 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 I'm in, click, 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 click,
And like it's really funny to kind of and like it really does get that thing across where it's just like, oh, this huge life-altering, world-ending event is happening, and like we're all just sitting in front of a computer.
Yeah, just watching it happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm deciding which way I want to go with this, because I want to talk about who was your favorite Digimon in that section. But I did also love that the video calls when like Ty would be talking to
just like blank, 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 blank.
Yeah.
And there's no camera. That. There's no camera.
Yeah,
there's no webcams at the time.
No camera. They don't have a webcam.
It's it's clearly not built in. So.
Yeah. What? And even if they had shown a webcam, why does a barber in rural Japan have a webcam?
Yeah.
They don't. They do not.
Hey, it was an important business expense for his website.
Yes.
You could take pictures of his clients and like half a megapixel.
Yeah.
Right.
Which took like 3 hours to get uploaded.
Oh God, remember that? I remember. Sorry, this is completely derailing it, but I remember during the making of Attack of the Clones, on their website, you could go on there and pull up like production stills,
Right.
and I would sit there for like an hour waiting for a production still to load that would then end up just being an arm holding a lightsaber, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing in the world."
Cool. This is the future.
Yeah.
And somehow it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the future sucks.
Just so much. Maybe Diaboramon should have taken us all out.
I was about to
and Tokyo.
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, honestly, the idea of uploading an AI-powered virus to launch the nukes right now doesn't seem like the worst thing that could happen.
Right? Oh my God.
Felt
At
too
least
real.
something would happen.
It felt too real.
I did want to say I was really confused at this section, and I'm so grateful that I had my partner's guidance, because I was like, can we pause for a second? What the fuck is happening? He's like, that guy's eating the internet. And I'm like, okay, cool. Understood. Sounds good. And then I was just like, my next note was nuclear missiles in Colorado. What if I did this kids movie? What the fuck is happening? This goes from like 0 to 10,000 so quickly. I'm like, what's going on?
It is straight up a movie where they decided very early on where it's just like, look, if you're already watching this movie, it means you were a kid who dragged your parents along for the ride to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you're already in on this. Oh yeah. I remember renting this movie from Hollywood Video like every weekend to just watch.
Sure.
I had this on VHS and I watched it constantly. I loved it so much as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Because I started, we talked about it a little. I started out as a Pokemon person, and then when Digimon came out, I was like, oh no, I'm shifting over to Digimon. This is so much cooler. And then Yu-Gi-Oh came out, and I was like, all right, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh person now. So I would drop animes left and right, but this one hit me right at the right time. Infamon is my favorite Digimon of all time. I fucking love that design. I love the spider way of it. He's the red and white spider.
Clean it up. Okay. I don't know the name. So I'm going to be like, yeah, for sure. I said Ladybug guy. There's Catman.
I was always an Agumon main. Like I like that and all the Greymons evolutions from that. So like that was always kind of mine. Sam, my girlfriend's obviously a Gabumon and Garurumon stan. So.
Yeah, before this movie, I would bounce back and forth between Agumon and Gabumon. I had the toys that were like Transformers. That one was Agumon and one was Gabumon, and then you could warp evolve them into their mega forms.
Yeah,
and so I loved them both. But yeah, no, Infamon, I just love that design so much. And the fact that he wants to nuke Colorado, I am here for.
Yeah. And we stand.
Yeah, we stand Infamon. Omnimon though, the DNA digivolution of
that thing blew like every like 4-year-old mind at the time.
Yeah, I remember being in the theater and seeing that for the first time when like all the energy went into their heads and then the arm comes out. I was like, holy shit, what's fucking happening?
Again, 33-year-old me, I was just like, I need to apologize to my mom and dad as soon as I can. 8-year-old me, coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
Run that shit back.
It's so fucking rad.
I was told that I would like Armadillo-mon because he has a southern accent.
He's
but
barely
I never got
in
to
it.
see him.
He's barely
there.
which is a disappointment. Although I did like whatever his next form is, he just comes up and says "howdy" and nothing else, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
excellent.
Excellent.
that is great. What did you? How?
No notes.
Okay, how did your partner explain the egg evolutions?
You know, we just talked about that as
Oh, the armor
that was kind of
evolves.
towards the end. Yeah, I was like, that's fine. I don't care, honestly. So
Yeah,
he
I
started
don't need to know
explain it.
this.
I was like, I think I'm at the end of this, and because I don't know.
He
Like the two
he got
angels and
like
then golden egg or different eggs? Or you mean like the
yeah.
regular Digi eggs?
Well, there's the fire egg, and then there's the lightning egg, and then there's the winged egg, and then there's, yeah. I'm imagining your partner getting like a couple words into the sentence. So in season 2, there are these pillars, and you just being like, "Nah, I don't care." I don't
Yeah. As somebody who loved season 2, yeah, no, like there's so much context you're completely missing. Like you had to have been watching the show for it to even remotely make sense.
This show's so fucking complicated.
And that's the thing about the first 2 segments is that since they were based off of season 1, you get the context, right? This turns into this and then turns into this. And then season 2, they introduce this entirely different mechanic, and they're just like, nah, fuck you. You watch the anime, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate because this was in the era where basically any cartoon had to sell toys, and Digimon was no exception.
Yeah.
It was a Tamagotchi offshoot, basically.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite fun facts.
I had the Digi Terminal from season 2 actually as a kid, which had like the repository of all of them, so I could say every Digimon and every Digilution of it. Like loved it. I was again totally a Digimon kid back in the day. Season 2, obviously the mechanics were intended to like, how do we sell more toys? I know the Digi eggs, and we can do all this kind of stuff with it. You get to season 3, and it's just like, all right, Yu-Gi-Oh's big. We gotta get a card game.
Yeah, we gotta do the card game thing. We gotta.
Like, isn't Gen 4 is when it's just like they turned them into Power Rangers?
Yes, Generation 4 is when they just become Power Rangers.
Yeah, like they don't have Digimon companions. Like they are the teenagers become the Digimon.
Yeah, that's where I dropped off fully.
Oh yeah, no, I was just like, nope, I'm out.
The trading card one I could get into, because it was like
it was so grounded in the lore, at least.
Yeah, like, and I liked Gilmon, who's probably my second favorite Digimon.
Yep.
Fuck, man, I know more about this universe than I thought I did. My brain is unlocking so much of this as we go along.
Yeah. Yeah, the nostalgia unlock for this, I'm pretty sure, was hardcore. I'd imagine like Bree's partner was probably just like, you don't understand the importance of all
You don't understand. Terriermon wouldn't show up into the series for another year. This was like when we got...
And I was like, my love, we have to stop pausing because I have my podcast in like 15 minutes. We just gotta keep going.
You should have just put him. You should have just put him on the podcast and just been like, "All right, I'm in for Bree. She doesn't care about give a shit about this. I'm gonna talk about Digimon."
That is amazing.
He said he was gonna watch this episode.
Good.
So hi, if you're watching.
Hi, if you're watching. Also, how do you feel about them reusing the golden Digi Egg evolution for just the regular evolution for Terriermon later on, but instead of gold, it's green?
A long comment from him. We're like, well, you see.
Yeah.
Very in depth.
Yeah. No, this goes back to the third act being definitely the harder sell of this movie. It's one of those things where it's just like, I kind of wish they would have kept it just to Gen 1. Only because it just feels really tacked on. And I feel like at this point, if you hadn't been watching Gen 2, like you were missing way too much. It's so disjointed from everything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and like the first two, one is like a prologue to season 1. Right. The second is an epilogue to season 1. So if you were just a fan of that, that's fine. The third part takes place in between season, like the first half and the second half of season 2. And so you really had to watch it. And I think the only reason they included it was because we need
It's
people to watch season 2.
Yeah, it was what was actively running at the time, so they needed something in there.
Yeah. It is like one note I have right away is I'm pretty sure 4Kids did the dub of this, and I'm probably wrong.
It's a rough dub, but
it's a very
rough at this time.
Yeah,
they were.
And then that goes back to the pacing. The pacing was really, again, with the like constant need for a joke, constantly filling air, and like it's a very rough dub.
Speaking of jokes, I have a note here. The 3 bean salad, but I only have 2 beans joke is one of my favorite jokes from that time period. It shows up in every show from like 98 to 2001, and I love it. But no, 3 notes in a row. Once we start the 3rd section. Wow, 4Kids sucks. This is horribly edited. What the fuck is happening?
I had no idea. He explained it to me and it made less sense, honestly. I was like, okay, I was like, how much more time do we have left is what I really want to know, because I'd like to wrap this up.
Yeah. It is.
I'll
let you go.
I was just gonna say, I did like 2 of the jokes I actually laughed out loud, because I was like, that's pretty solid. They're not like super funny, but I did like, he made a joke about like, what's a semiconductor? Is it somebody
a guy who works part-time on a train.
That's a good joke.
I kind of like that. For all the like non-jokes like earlier, I was like, okay, listen, I'll give you that one. I don't remember the other one that made me laugh, but that one I liked.
That one is good.
You enjoy quippiness. It's a very quippy kind of thing. Yes. And it doesn't have that like, Marvel's like level kind of quips. It's like we have to joke to break the tension. No, the joke is part of the tension.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. There was a joke during part 2. Well, I was actually going to ask, because I like it is so much easier to talk about and make fun of things that you did not like. Mm-hmm. And part 2, all 3 of us really liked. But Aaron, I know you said that you wanted to talk about that one the most. So is there anything else from part 2 that you wanted to bring up?
I mean, more or less, we covered the kind of basis of it. It's the strongest on its own merits as far as like a story. It still holds up today, because even though like, it's old internet, like, again, this is like at the height of the .com bubble is when this is taking place.
Yeah.
But it's still very relevant. It's a compelling story that still holds weight today, especially in the climate we're in right now with AI and, chronically onlineness and everything else. Meanwhile, the world's on fire.
Yeah.
So it holds up very well, and I would be interested to see, because they did make a Our War Games anime that's basically removes the Digimon aspect of this. Like there's an anime out there that actually is like basically the exact same plot, beat for beat, but is like separate from Digimon. I'm like really interested to see how that plays.
Yeah.
Because it is simply just war games. It's like, the way that we look at conflict now it literally is from the perspective of person sitting at computer at desk.
Yeah. And how we, like you said earlier, that like you watch all of this happen, through a screen, right? Like, the time limit on like us potentially nuking Iran was happening through a screen. And that, to lighten it up, I did remember another joke that I liked from that section.
Back during COVID-y times, I started reading a little bit more. I started reading a lot of nonfiction. So I read this book, The Perfect Weapon by David E. Sanger, and it specifically talks about how we've been basically in cyber warfare with Iran, Russia, and other adversaries for over a decade now. And basically, like we're basically actively at war from the perspective of just like sitting at our computers hacking at all times. it's a very relevant way to kind of think where like, you know, we have like successfully disabled Iran's like electrical grid before.
Yeah.
And like you have North Korea actively, you know, going after corporations and companies on our side and everything else like that. And it's just like we have to kind of realize where it's just like, yeah, we view this from the perspective of like media and everything else in like our regular day-to-day lives. But in reality, it's just like there's a lot of stuff that causes real harm and real damages that happens through these screens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a good read. I was going to say, though, to lighten the mood a little bit, I remembered another joke that I have loved in this movie since I was a child, which is the person buying chocolate as Inframon is eating up all of the data, and they like scan it.
So,
All
that's
right, that'll be
100.
like, yeah, like $100 million. And then he just drops all the coins, and they're like, must be pretty good chocolate.
Just a pure deadpan, just like, it's like, oh, that's a really good chocolate. Paper or plastic?
Yeah.
I think the paper or plastic like was the thing that hit really funny because it's just like, oh yeah, they used to ask you.
Yeah. And now you got to bring, you know, your reusable bag, or you get charged like 10 cents.
I don't know if we have that here, to be honest with you.
We just started doing it in January here.
Oh, we've been doing that.
Yeah.
Since we've been doing that since before COVID.
Mm.
It went from it like if it's plastic, you have to charge the 10 cents. There's some grocery stores that have opted to paper, but now you also have to charge like 5 cents for paper bags.
Oh, interesting. Because
Yeah.
we've eliminated plastic entirely here, and you have to get paper.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of self-checkout lines don't even stock it. So like they expect
Yeah.
you to have a bag now.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Walmarts around here have gotten rid of their self-checkout lines.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
The rate of store loss has finally like caught up with the having to pay employees.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. No, there is a singular person who I've started shopping at Walmart more recently because I live in a little bit of a food desert, and it's 5 minutes longer of a drive to get to Kroger than it is to get to Walmart,
which is significant.
Fair.
Yeah. There's a person, because we do still have self-checkout. She will watch you and count how many items you've scanned, and she'll come up and be like, I only saw you scan 12 items, and I count 13 here, so I'm going to need to check your thing before you can cash out. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
You work for Walmart. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Right.
Way to be a class trader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She's also,
I know
like,
you're not
super
getting paid
racist.
well, so.
Well, yeah. Oh no, the person who's basically assuming everybody's stealing is also the same person who's racist? Weird. Who would have thought?
Wait, hold
Right?
up.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Shocker of the era.
Anyways, Bree, you didn't say what was your favorite Digimon?
Armadillomon, even though he wasn't represented well in this. Again, my partner said he's like, I think you'd really like him because he has a very silly Southern accent. I'm like, that sounds like something I would really, really enjoy. And I do really like his design. So I think that's on the money.
Again, I don't know I don't know how much nostalgia glasses you have to have on to go rewatch the original series, but like I did enjoy season 2 when I was a kid. So
did I.
Take that for what it's worth.
I bet my partner would love to show it to me. So maybe you're opening that door up right now. So
yeah.
We're going to watch Digimon together, I guess.
What the fuck did go back to the beginning end up meaning in the third act?
Obviously, he needed to figure out time travel.
Yeah,
that was the point.
That was the whole thing.
It's like, hey, kid from Colorado, I need you to go back in time to fix getting infected by a digital virus in the real world. Okay.
This brings up another question, because in the version that Aaron and I watched, fucking Cocomon terrible name, shows
Yeah.
up and just like points at his throat after eating the other two Digimon, and they're like, "We just gotta shoot here." And then they didn't show what they were shooting at. Bree, did they show it in your version?
I don't think so. I think it was just like, and
They
then
did
explosion, and then all of a sudden he's dead now. So I'm like,
yeah, they did a
okay.
recycled animation from the show.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, we need to attack the virus. Zoom.
Hey, look, it's a happy clown rabbit monster now.
Yeah.
Yay!
Also,
Yeah,
as a blonde-haired blue. Sorry.
Yeah, as a Nazi, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. You know, as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy from Colorado who liked Digimon, this movie meant the world to me as a kid. I was like, I could be Willis. I could be.
It's
what do you
me.
mean? He's got the two worst Digimon I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Fuck. All right. No, I'd have cooler Digimon if I were Willis.
Right.
Obviously, clearly.
That's the great of the delusion of being a child. It's just like I would have the coolest Digimon ever, the coolest Digi-evolutions.
Yeah.
This one becomes
No,
a sexy girl with guns.
Yeah, I totally do everything possible to raise it right and have it not turn into a literal shit monster. Which is canon if you played the Digimon games as a kid. To get the ideal evolution line, you had to treat your partner correctly. And if you didn't, they would just turn into a literal pile of shit with arms and a face.
So literally how every relationship you've ever had worked.
Hey, now. They were nice people, mostly.
Until you didn't treat them correctly. And then they became giant shit monsters.
Oh, I don't have a joke for that.
So now that we're dealing with Steph's childhood, as being a little
we're going back that
blonde
far with exes. Oh yeah, Whitney from kindergarten was a giant shit monster. Okay.
Sorry,
I mean, most children are,
and it's my fault.
Most children are. Take accountability, Seth.
She is an angel, and it's because her family moved away, and I couldn't further influence her.
Tracks.
Yeah, that third part, man, it just
it literally could have lived without it.
It really could have. And this is the first time I've watched this movie since I was a child. Like, right. I've revisited Pokemon, the first movie, since. I was probably 11, and I remember loving it. Absolutely loving it. And for the first two segments, I was like, yeah, no, this is great. It's nostalgic. It's all of this. We get into that third part, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is happening? Why are they aging backwards all of a sudden? What is anything?
I was instantly bored at like third section because I'm just like, we are traveling to so many places. I'm like, okay, we're in New York, we're on a train, Colorado, but turns out we don't need to be in Colorado. We need to be in a different place, also in Colorado. But again, going back to like, we got to go back to the beginning. Still don't really know what that means. Like, granted, none of this makes sense to me. This made the most not sense to me. I'm just like, yeah. I don't feel accomplished after any of this. I don't really see what the point of this section was. And there's so many characters who I don't know at all. They're here now. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I will say, what cracked me up in this part, which I know my partner tried to explain part of this to me. Like, they all have like there's friendship, intelligence, love, blah blah blah. That's part of this section. I do really like the really deep voice that said "storm of friendship" and "wings of love," and then would go right into a awkwardly placed pop punk song or whatever it was at the time. It's just a lot of whiplash. And kind of going back to song choices, I'm not saying any of these songs are bad, but they were shoehorned into every part of this movie, and it was not always appropriate for that song to be playing. So, yeah, especially evident in the third section. I was like, oh, this song's playing now. Okay, yeah, why not? That sounds fine.
Fatboy Slim playing while he has a fight with a cat. This didn't make sense to you.
I know. I'm like,
The fuck was So Brother? It is definitely like going back to our era of childhood where they talk about what's wrong with the kids today. It's just like they did say that like our ADHD should have been much more easy to diagnose. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That being said, if you watch kids media today, like it's woof.
I have an ex with a child, and she put on, what is it, like Mr. Blippy or something for him while we were hanging out. Whatever, the YouTube guy with the hat with the spinner thing on it, and I watched it, and I was like, honestly, I think children's entertainment has gotten worse. Yeah. Like we had Blue's Clues, people slightly younger than us had Dora the Explorer, and now it's look at the fire truck.
Anytime I get
boom, 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 boom.
Anytime I get introduced to influencers or anybody who's making like Gen Alpha content, I'm always just like, what are we doing to the kids? What? Like, here's the thing: brain rot is a rite of passage.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that like the movie that we just watched was super great for our development. It absolutely was not. Absolutely. Especially that third act. But like what's going on now, and like it's interesting because like there's a lot of reviews out for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And everything I've seen about it is just like it's just one of those things where it's just like it is just overstimulation end to end. It's just bright colors, loud, goes, everything's like a meme joke that like it's 3 years outdated because it's what a like studio execs kids thought it was funny at the time when it was in production and somehow stayed in the movie. It's just like can we like get back to where at least like the showrunners and the creators of these things have an idea of what they're trying to make, and it just happens to be kid centric, because there's a lot of really good cartoons and kids television that still appeals to adult. We watched She-Ra. She-Ra, I think, was a great example of like, this is absolutely a show that like kids could watch and everything else, but like I'm just like I'm enjoying it as an adult. The stories are great, the characters are great. There's actually like a plot to this. And
it doesn't talk down to you, despite being kind of intended for children. So
and it doesn't
are smart. They can absorb that information. They can understand.
And then it approaches the subject matter in a way that doesn't create like a taboo, or that you already have to be confrontational with it and having the conversations with them. It's very easy to understand.
Yeah. No, and this has actually been something a conversation that I've been seeing on TikTok recently. I think it was brought up by like the Super Mario Galaxy movie or Minecraft, where it's all just brain rot. Here's all of this. And then you look back to like animated movies that were directed at children when we were growing up. The Goofy movie has like a very deep story about like being a parent and like what it means to connect with your child who is getting older. And like we used to make stories that were directed at kids but had an emotional depth to them that kind of prepared a lot of us for complex emotions that we would be feeling later in life. Whereas now a lot of media that's directed at children is just like, look at Chicken Jockey, look at Lava Chicken,
Yeah, as somebody who was at a like party like recently where basically everybody was like, had children and all the children were there, and like the amount of screaming and overstimulation and stuff going on, it's just like, and like more or less all the parents are just ignoring the kids. It's just like, do you literally just treat your children as noise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, speaking of, my child is making a lot of noise back there now.
But Bo is perfect and has never done anything wrong in his life, and you know this.
As his lawyer. we can
I do know that. But yeah, that is... Well, and like to mention my friend X, who has a child, when I hang out with them, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? don't let your kid get away with half of the shit he's getting away with. Like, this is the child that I had to take a paternity test for, and there was
That's
a minute
what
where I
figured.
was like,
I knew exactly who you were talking about. It was like, X with a child that is not mine. We've verified.
verified, not mine. But like, there was that we hung out for a day after we took the paternity test, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to correct so many things. Like, because he's running around Target screaming his head off, and I'm like, are you gonna do something about that? Are you gonna? And she's like, nah, he's just a free spirit. And I'm like, no, he's a fucking annoying child.
Like, it's like, hey, you do need to introduce your child to the concept of boundaries.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they can understand if you talk to them like they're a human being. I feel like I've seen so many really good parents, like at the doctor's office I work at, where I'm like, if you just explain to them, like, hey, that's not very nice, please don't do that, like, this is hurting this person, like, you could talk through that and they will understand. Allow them to do that. Like, that's how it should be done. And I'm like, none of us have kids, obviously, but it's like,
they are. We don't. I confirmed. I don't.
For clear.
that we know.
Lindsay, if you ever see this, I love you to death. You're a bad mom.
Oh, no.
Love you to death, girl. Love you. Be a better mom.
No,
wow, that just shut things down, didn't it?
I was just gonna say, Sam has a friend who's a mom and has I believe he's 3 now, but like, yeah, he is a kid by all means. It's like, he wants to run around, he's playing, he can be a little bit loud, but she does a very good job of correcting him and just making sure that all not saying like he does not shaming him for being a kid, but just like, hey, let's put that energy in a productive or appropriate direction.
Yeah.
Redirect. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. There are times when children can be children and be loud and run around. I have no problems with like being at a dog park and seeing a bunch of kids running and screaming and playing, because that's play. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it during a movie. Don't do it at a restaurant. Like teach them boundaries and teach them when things are appropriate, when they are not appropriate. I say this as a childless father.
A childless father. Let's unpack that one.
Yeah. Hey, we're not bringing Ava into this. All right.
Deep cuts.
I did want to circle back to like the whole like level of humor like that's used nowadays, because I'm like, I feel like there's so much reliance on referential humor, and I don't know why we've gone back to that, because it dates things immediately. You can tell when a movie was made, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 it's not funny, because again, it was some guy in his suit that's like, oh yeah, I heard my kids say this once, it's probably funny. Like, we just mentioned this movie is like however old, and we mentioned a couple of jokes that still kind of hit for us because they were timeless and they were not tied to that time era. Like, again, I think it's a level of talking down to your audience. They're just like, I don't know, this is popular, they're gonna like this, they're gonna gobble this ship up.
This is what the kids are into these days.
We're humans with brains. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, no, we can actually like enjoy like a joke that is like simple but still kind of fun. Like, it just like there's no respect for the audience in general. Like, and I think we've talked about this before, just like everything is so second screen now. People think we are so fucking stupid. And I will say, in a lot of ways, we are getting super fucking dumb, but we don't have to. We are definitely having a literacy crisis, and it is spilling over into our media, which is just a bummer.
It is really interesting, going back to Brie, your point about the second screen. There's been a lot of conversation I've been seeing. I haven't watched it, but the show The Pet, that's been all over my For You pages, and like a lot of people are talking about this. Like, you can tell that the fandom and people watching the show are second screening it, because they ignore so many aspects of why the show is actually good and just like focus on like the aspects that the fandom and the internet and their second screen is telling them.
I haven't gotten that with The Pit, but I absolutely see it. I don't watch The Pit. I don't get a lot of clips from it, but I can see it. because I mean we all saw that Matt Damon Hot Ones interview where he was like, no, production houses are telling you specifically to write things for second string viewing. Write things where you are constantly reaffirming what is already happening, and and people aren't picking up on like smaller minute details of storytelling anymore.
Which is honestly, I don't know if either of you played or watched somebody play the new Resident Evil game. Very interesting, very fun game to watch. But there is a part in the beginning that really stuck out to me because I a couple of the streamers I watched play it mentioned this. They mention that the mom put something behind a picture frame. They mention it nothing less of like maybe 10 times. And then the player's like, wait,
Really?
my mom left something behind the picture frame. I was like, yes, I know. We just watched a flashback and then she told it to you verbally and then you said it back to her. And then now we have like a fifth or sixth time where she's like, wait a second, it's a picture frame. I was like, we can't be doing this. We can't be this like
No.
focus. Like I'm like, this is basic information in the first hour of a game. But I mean, that's where we're getting, and it's really frightening. I don't really know how to fix it, but it's really spilling into all parts of media. I'm like, I'm especially a video game, which is wild to me. I'm like, when I'm playing a video game, generally I'm pretty focused on it, but clearly most people aren't. They're just like, oh, they're not gonna remember that thing behind the picture frame. We should probably tell them 8 more times so they make sure to get this item so they can continue the game. Like, what do we do?
There's a pendulum swinging in gaming where you have things go in the directions of like say an Elden Ring where it's just like don't hold their hand, let them figure it out, and then it goes back the other way. It's just like handhold, like basically the entire game's pretty much a tutorial.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and like I picked up the Pokemon Fire Red re-release. These games, and I played Pokemon Shield for context. Pokemon Fire Red does not hold your hand.
Nope.
At all. Shield holds your hand through the entirety of the game to a point where it's like the whole thing just feels like I'm still in the tutorial.
Yeah. I mean, that's my problem with most mobile games is that literally it's just like, you're just like, okay, when can I just play the game? It's just like, no, we still have to explain all these other systems to you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't give a shit about your gacha mechanic. I just want to play like the main core thing that this game is. It's just like, yeah, but like, here's how you gain these currencies and how they work and how you can unlock new things. It's just like, no, I just want to do the simple gameplay loop and just do that. And whenever I have like 5-10 minutes to kill.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
We're kind of seeing, which I think we've kind of discussed this before, but I think we are seeing this this desire to go back in terms of technology or just to step away from technology in general. I have 2 friends who just got a corded phone because they are so sick of having their phone on them all the time. I'm gonna mention this, but I started writing letters to my friends, and it has been such a fucking joy. We've loved it so much. And it's just like, and I kind of get it. Even like the I still like a lot of YouTube and things like that, but like I'll watch like the newest Drew Gooden video, rewatch it a couple of times, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not having fucking fun anymore. Like the internet is really not fun for me anymore because there's so much regurgitated information. I don't want to watch the newest show because I'm sure it's a rehash of something I've already seen. It's just like I think we're hitting a wall with all of this stuff, and I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to influence us going forward, because I think I'm seeing more and more in my like day-to-day life this fatigue of technology, of content, and all this, because I'm like, it's just not fucking fun anymore. It's not fun, it's not interesting, it's not engaging. And I'm just like, I have a way better time literally reading books, writing letters to my friends, talking to my friends on the phone. Like I'm kind of hopeful. It's making me hopeful that maybe we're reclaiming this a little bit. I think we have a long way to go, but I'm interested to see how this develops in the near future.
I think there's specifically a critical mass we're hitting because the algorithmification of media in general, like it's everywhere on every platform, and it's homogenized everything. It's made everything samey, and it's always trying to sell you something. And like, and very specifically, like, when we kind of started doing this kind of stuff, it literally was just like the only way you're going to be successful at this is if you're actually in it for the love of doing it and enjoying it. But so many people get into it these days, are just like actively wanting to be an influencer.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like there is nothing more irritating than like being on Instagram or YouTube or anything and just like literally just seeing somebody who's just making content that is specifically designed for the algorithm to blow up. And I'm just like, I hate this so much. I miss
Yeah.
sketch comedy on YouTube. Doesn't exist
Yes.
anymore. Like I miss like the 5 15-minute long sketches of somebody put together of literally just them, their friends in their camera. There was actually like a script that they wrote for it. They
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
took the time to block out camera and shots and stuff. They took the time to edit together something. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with like the only thing that's really on YouTube that works anymore is like the video essays, and even those can get a little depending on the content.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, like, to speak to that, one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time is "The Eagles Are Turning People into Horses" by Britannic. And they've gone on and they do like live sketch comedy now. I think they wrote for Saturday Night Live for a little while. And they just released a movie called Pizza Movie on Hulu. This is an ad. Pay me, you fuckers. I've been a fan of yours for years. But the Eagles turning people into horses, that was a movie they made in college. It's like a 10-minute short
right.
skit. And it's incredible. And it's so funny. And that stuff just does not exist anymore.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, it's honestly, I
Watch
know I
the-
keep mentioning it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, watch Eagles Are Turning People into Horses. It's incredible. It's so
Okay.
fucking funny.
I will definitely check that out. Put it in the chat so I remember.
Okay.
But I would say when you mentioned like video essays, I know I think unfortunately people are like, oh, people like long form content. I better make a 4-hour video, even though I'm not interested enough to talk about this, and this isn't an interesting topic. Again, like I outside of like Jenny Nicholson and again Drew Gooden, like I will say like I think Drew Gooden's one of my favorite people on YouTube right now because like
He's so great.
he's so fucking good, and I feel like he's like really just like hitting the button on like what I'm feeling about all this right now because he ESPN is not a fucking thing I care about at all, but that's a great fucking video that he made, and I think it really encapsulates like what's going on in media right now. Like so much of that, like it's all rage bait right now. Even
Yep.
fucking sports is just rage bait right now. And I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's just that level of constant negativity and like insincerity is exhausting.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm never on TikTok for that reason because no matter what I do to my algorithm, it sends
always
me
there.
drama videos and rage bait and political hot takes, and I'm just like, I cannot consume this content anymore. It is exhausting to me.
Yeah.
It's just like
No,
I want to be
absolutely.
able to care about these things without having to be angry at everybody.
Exactly.
Yes.
I just want the information, and then I can sit with it. I can make my own decisions, and I just like, but that's not happening right now. So I'm like,
Yep.
I am really interested to see how things develop in the next couple of years. It kind of does make me hopeful because I'm just like, maybe everyone's sick of this shit. Maybe we're sick of just like
Yeah.
buying a bunch of shit we don't need from people who are just hawking it at us. Influencers will go away, hopefully, because you could see that shit from a
Yeah.
fucking mile away when they're just making content for context's sake, and there's so much of that.
I think very
Yeah.
specifically the consumerist nature is shifting because right now it's like it's way too expensive to like really have a hobby anymore, and like so many of these things that influencers are hawking and everything else, it's just like it's hawking lifestyle type stuff, and it's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, I look at most things that I have gotten into, it's just like, man, that was a very consumerist like rabbit hole I fell down.
Yeah.
Like, what are things that I enjoy doing that doesn't like capitalistically exploit me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. Well, and like coming from the guitar side of it, there is like gear acquisition syndrome where they're
Yeah.
like, oh, you need 15 different guitars because all
Yep.
of them have different whatevers, and you've got to have 1,000 different pedals, and it's like,
Yep.
no, you really don't.
You really
need
don't.
a good amp and one good guitar,
We're-
and that's it.
I've actually noticed a trend recently because I get ads all the time for used camera gear, and the market has crashed on that shit.
Has it?
Like there's like really like stuff that like not even like a few years ago was like industry standard for like freelance video production stuff on sale for like a quarter of the cost of what it was new. Like the pricing on everything is cratered. And like I'm just like, oh, that's right. Everybody who got this stuff to try and like take a thing at freelance has been AI'd out. Because all they did was commercial work in every ad agency, and their mother's trying to just use AI to do all of their campaign stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody who got into it, like, again, trying to make a living off of their hobby, like, it's not good.
No. And you like, to be able to make a living off of your hobby should be like the dream. You should do it for the love of the game, like you were saying.
Yes.
Like,
here's the thing. I would like my hobby to be self-sustaining at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like especially when I did a lot more photography work, it's just like, yeah, I would shoot weddings, and then the money I made from the wedding would go to buy a piece of camera equipment that I've been wanting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like after I did an editing gig, I would like get something for like my computer or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But like basically it's just like, but like my hobby basically sustained itself with the money that I made off of it. It wasn't the thing of how I am making money. And now that being said, the way I make money in the day-to-day life is exhausting. And I'd like to have some fulfillment from it. Like, granted, I like my job a lot better than I've had in previous jobs in the past. But regardless, my job is still a job.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
I am one of those people who's just like, my job is not me. Which is why I don't talk about it very often in like play companies. Just like, my job isn't really the most interesting thing about me.
That is something that I have dealt with my entire adult life, where like in friendships and in dating, they're like, well, you never talk about work. And I'm like, yeah, that's because that's what I'm doing to make a living. I would rather talk to you about my special interest. I'd talk to you about music, talk to you about art. And they're like, but I want to hear about your day. And I'm like, my day was my day. I went to work, I did a bunch of shit, and then I came home. What's the story there? And then they're like, but you're not opening up to me. And I'm like, we should probably seek couples therapy. But
and then you started a podcast.
Yep. But yeah, that is something that I've constantly come up against, where it's like, no, I don't talk about the things I do to make money very often, because that's just a means to an end. That's not like what I'm passionate about. And the influencer mindset is like, well, no, we got to be making money here. We got to be doing this. And that's the only reason I'm doing it. And I'm like, no. You should be doing it because you love it. And the money is just a bonus.
It's all circling back to capitalism, right? Just like, I mean, and to your point, I'm like, I'm spending 40 plus hours a week at my job. I don't want to, and I will say, like, I think it's all fine and good to complain about your job, but I feel like I very often, I'm like, we're stopping. I'm like, I'm going to say this one last thing about my job, and then we're not going to talk about it anymore, because I am there all the fucking time. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm like, I have a whole fucking life outside of this that I can be talking about. So yeah, let's not make this about the means of production.
Yeah, no, I'm at the point now where it's just like, well, that was a rough case anyways. So
yeah,
I had one attorney basically who I was like recognized me from another case. It's like, oh, you worked on me with the like whatever case. It's just like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. Sure, cool.
Going back to the Walmart thing, one of the people who used to run self-checkout was fired recently, and I ran into them while shopping at Walmart, and they were somebody that I had like a good repertoire with. And I was like, what? I'd been wondering where you had been. And they're like, yeah, I got let go. But, I've been coming back to the store and shopping here because I want to run into some of my old regulars. And I was like, I would never fucking do that.
Nope.
Like, I've had regulars that I loved working in food service. The second I leave that job, you all are dead to me. Like, I don't want to see you again.
If I could.
Yeah, exactly.
I would go out of my way to avoid you.
Yep. It's the running into your teacher in public thing, where it's just like, yep, nope, you don't exist to me.
Yeah, no.
It's like you're my student in school in the hours between this and this. Outside of that, outside of school grounds, you don't exist.
Yes. Let's keep it that way.
Oh my god. I worked at a nonprofit for a little while that dealt with halfway house kids.
Yeah.
You know, kids who had been addicted to drugs, thrown out of their house, all of that. And I got in trouble for like some stuff that I had been posting on Twitter. And they were like, well, if any of our students see that, because I was making jokes about like drugs and getting drunk and like whatever. And they're like, well, you know, if any of our students see this, it could be detrimental to their recovery. And I was like, you have our students added on Twitter? Why would you ever do that?
Right.
Why would you? No. And I would be asked from time to time, hey man, you got social media? And then this is like 2011, the year that we all met. And I'd be like, no, I don't got social media. I don't do that shit. I don't know, whatever, because it would be inappropriate. These are work hours that I am responsible for you and your healthcare and maintaining your sobriety. Outside of that, you do not fucking exist to me.
Right.
Like,
there's nothing more awkward than like outside work functions, like happy hour or whatever. I'm just like, can I leave now? Can I leave?
Yeah.
I remember the one
I don't want to do mandatory fun. Yeah.
I remember the one I went to at like my previous job that I hated so fucking much, and like it was just like, okay, well, like, you know, the boss is like, you know, big on appearance and everything, so gotta be there. It's just like, it was on a fucking boat on the Potomac. I was like, fuck, I can't Irish goodbye this shit. I can't just up and leave.
That's brutal.
The one singular company function that I went to was a brunch that we had after a morning meeting. And I went because they had bottomless mimosas. And I got so fucking drunk that I almost got a public intoxication ticket on my way home. And I talked my way out of that shit, despite the fact that there was a pile of vomit sitting next to me on the light rail. And I'm like, nah, it's just food poisoning, dude. It's just... got out of the ticket.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, the one I went to in October for my current job, the worst part is like I had just stopped drinking, and so it's just like, oh god, I have to deal with people sober. Fuck.
Oh no.
Luckily, everybody was hitting their vape pens, like, and we're not even trying to hide. Like, so I'm just like, my people.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh.
All right. Well, anyways,
capitalism sucks.
Capitalism sucks. Go watch the Digimon movie. Feel free to stop like right after the second act, so you don't have to watch anything after that. Yes. But anyways, that is our show. But we do need to know our homework assignment for next week, and I believe Bree, it's your turn.
Yes. You know, I remember that like halfway through, and I was like, yes, a homework assignment. That's my job. So
I got this. I know what we're doing.
Wait, hold on. Let me look up something like super, super quick, because I just want to make sure, because I did have a video game in mind, but I want to make sure that Seth can play it.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you an option. So option 1 is a video game, and it's a video game that is very near and dear to my heart, and it is Night in the Woods. It looks like it's on literally everything. So I would love to do that, but if we're not feeling a video game for whatever reason, totally cool. My other option, and this is purely because Seth, you're like, well, I'll never watch this, and I was like, I'm gonna make you. It was Hell of a Boss. So Hell of a Boss or Night in the Woods.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, this is literally on anything. So
hey, I'll try anything twice. So Aaron, if you wanna decide on this one.
I'm looking at Night in the Woods. Like, yeah, no, I'm definitely down for Night in the Woods. Has pretty good reviews. It's on Steam, and it says it was also released on PS4, so Seth should have access to it.
Yes, it seems like it's now on every single platform. So, and I love this game, so I'd be thrilled to play it again.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds good to me. So Night in the Woods.
Is that KN or regular night?
Night, as in the time of day.
Night.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, anyways, that is our show for this week. I am TCK Media on most platforms. You have That Stuff 23, who you can see on the TikToks every now and again, talking about how we're close to nuclear disaster. And you have the Raccoon Loon herself, Brienne. Anyways, that is our show, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.